Teen Stress. I'm Abba Shrestha, and welcome back to our Behind the Crown series, where we share the stories of women in pageantry beyond their shiny dresses and pretty face, to showcase women that utilize their title to make a difference and spread awareness on the topic of mental health within their community. Today I'm here with the 2024 Sugarlands teen, Campbell Baldon. Campbell, can you please go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your role?
Yes, I'd love to. I was, like you said, the 2024 Miss Sugarlands teen. It was my first pageant ever that I competed in, and I was with the Miss America organization, so the big pageantry system. And I got to compete at the Miss Texas competition this past June, and yeah.
All right, and how's that role been of holding that position of 2024 Miss Teen Sugarlands? Like, how do you feel about it, and what was that process?
So like I mentioned before, had never done a pageant before, and I had the privilege of meeting my lovely pageant director at a dance convention, and she convinced me to compete in the local pageant, and I was honored to win the title. And I just kind of got to go through my year advocating for mental health and things that I was passionate about and outreaching to my community. And then at the end of my year, like I said, I got to compete at the Miss Texas competition against 60 other girls, which was absolutely amazing. And I've built bonds with them that I know will last throughout my lifetime. And it's just been great.
And then, as your first time beauty pageant queen, how has your involvement in this and being a role in this influenced your perspective on mental health and well-being?
So like I mentioned, chose for my platform to be mental health. And I got to reach out to many people in my community. I got to attend many events because of my title for mental health and just regular events. And I got to speak with a lot of people on my community service initiative. And that was truly life changing for me because I got to hear a lot of people's stories and perspectives on their mental health journeys and how truly widespread the issue still is.
So, what inspired you to work with the Fort Bend Hike for Hope, and how do you think this initiative impacts mental health?
So, the Fort Bend Hike for Hope is a suicide prevention walk that happens every year in April. It raises money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And I kind of got involved because I attended the walk as a volunteer 2 years ago. And the event is, it is some suicide is something that is very sad and can be really heavy on people's hearts. But the event is very hopeful and truly very happy for the people that attend. There is a lot of camaraderie. There are usually 600 to 1,000 people that attend the walk, so it's very large, but it feels like people are truly coming together. And that's something that really spoke to me because even in a time that could be so dark as losing a loved one to suicide or even struggling with that yourself, people are still able to come together and lean on each other.
Yeah, that's really good to hear that you're involved in something that's very, very important, especially in today's society. So you were talking about how the reason you got into pageantry was because of dance, basically, right? So
Yes.
that one attribute that's been very important in your life till now is dance. And throughout the past 2 years, you've been a dance class teacher assistant, a captain of a varsity dance team, and so on. So how do you think physical activity like dance can help or hurt your mental health and stress?
Yeah, so actually, the reason that dance really spoke to me was because I struggled with mental health myself. And I feel like by being involved in something physical like, so often throughout my day, it really helps me release some of my anxiety and some of the stress that I face throughout my daily life. And so, dance has been a huge part of that for me. And I think it really does help with one's mental health being involved in a physical activity because it allows you to put for your brain to be put on hold and to put those thoughts into something else that's productive for your body and for your mind. And I also really feel like dance specifically is really cool because it has an emotional aspect that's very artistic and also that physical aspect that can also help with aiding in your mental health.
And then aside from dance, what are some coping mechanisms that you think that you utilize whenever you're stressed?
So, something that I've really advocated for this past year being in pageantry and really my whole life is therapy. I think therapy is something that everyone can really utilize, even if they feel like they don't need it, because it just really does something for your mind to talk to somebody that you don't know about the issues going on in your life. So, I think that's truly a huge coping mechanism that can be very helpful for people. I also think taking time for yourself and getting away from the things that you do in your daily life, like school and even the activities that I was talking about, can be a little bit stressful. So I think taking some time for yourself is very helpful.
And then, do you think it's important to be educated on the topic of mental health during your teen years? Why or why not?
I 100% think that it is very important for teens to be educated on their mental health because I have noticed growing up and going to high school and being in pageantry this past year that teens kind of stray away from wanting to learn about it because they feel like they're scared that they're going to be judged or that they won't have support from their parents or their peers in trying to get that help. And I think it's important also that teens know that there are free resources available online and in person so that if they don't have the funds or don't have the support to get the help that they need, they can.
What are some moments growing up where you felt as though you had endured the most stress, and how did you handle those situations?
Yeah, so I think being in high school is something that can be very stressful. I mean, I'm out of that now, but it's really hard when you're on a sports team and you're trying to do classes and trying to get ready for college. And I think that's something that's really stressful. So taking time, like I said, for yourself to go on a walk or do something that you love can be very helpful. And I also think something that was really stressful for me, and I know people right now that are going through this, is college applications can be really stressful because uncertainty and not knowing where you're going to be ending up in the next year can be really stressful. So I think just really putting things in perspective and knowing that you're going to end up where you're absolutely meant to be can be very helpful as well.
And then there's this misconception that a lot of people, or kind of like controversy, that a lot of people think that some people think that physical health is more important than mental health. Others think mental health is more important, and some people think that they're equally as important. What's your 2 cents on
So I definitely think that physical health is very important, but I also think that mental health is very important. So I would say it's about equal because they're very much so linked. Like I said, being involved in a physical activity can definitely help your mental health. So that definitely proves that your mind and body are linked. A lot of people, I think mental health is less important or even not real, I've heard, which is crazy to me. But because you can't see it a lot of the time, it seems like it's not real because you can't see it or that it's unvalid, but that's completely not true. It's equally important to take care of your mind as it is your body because they function together.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's also crazy that some people don't believe in mental health or having a good or bad mental health because everyone has it. It's not like you have it good or have it bad. Everyone has mental health. So I feel like very important to take care of that. Um,
Definitely.
but my last question to you is what advice would you give to someone out there that's struggling with their mental health or like some kind of message you'd like to leave to our Addressing Stress audience?
Yes. I definitely would say that you aren't alone. I know that's very cliche and we hear it a lot, but there really are a lot of people out there, myself included, that have struggled with mental health that may seem like they've got it all together, and truly nobody does. I think that in times of uncertainty that can be really stressful, it's important to remember that you're going to end up where you're meant to be and that you have a purpose here. And also, I want everybody to know that there are free resources online for teens and for everyone, really, to help with mental health that are completely free. They're completely confidential, so nobody has to know if you're using them. So don't ever hesitate to use a resource like that if you feel like you don't know what to do or you feel like you don't have support behind you.
Yes, and definitely addressing stress showcases so many resources. So if you are at that point, please utilize the resources on our website. Once again, it's very important. We also have like connections to different therapists and such that we've talked to in the past. So again, like please take the help that you need. So, but anyway, thank you so much, Campbell, for sharing your story with us today. Thank you so much for helping us address teen stress.